find out you're cold. I still want you, make me need you, make you mine like you're cold. Got to have you, 'cause I just can't live without you.
No! Yeah, Scooby-Doo-Dooby-Doo. Hey, we watched an Adam Sandler movie this week.
Ooh.
It was Sophia and Lenica were watching it. It was one of the
50
ones.
First Dates.
No, they watched that one a bunch of times though. Sophia likes that one. It was a new one. It was with Jennifer Aniston. It was fine. Go with it. Just go with it. Just go with it.
Never seen
All
it.
right.
Never seen it.
Fine, whatever. You know what? They're all the same. Adam Sandler gets to make out with girls that he never ever would. That's why he does movies. And you know, that's how it goes. I think that one he was making out with like Brooke Burke or Brooke Dusk. Not Brooke Dusk. We talked about her last week. Hey, John Jetta. John Jetta. That's the name we couldn't think of last week.
That's what's really bad. Is he still in Eau Claire doing?
I have no clue, but I thought of
watches
this.
this.
I thought of it on the replay. I was like, that's the name, John freaking Jetta. Man, that guy he had curse words set after his name a lot.
He was just a big jerk.
I know. He was one of the meanest people ever. And then acted all on camera. And then you saw, oh, man. Sorry, John. Hopefully you cleaned up your act. Or maybe you just went into some other business where you could just be a jerk. I don't know. Why not? Anyway, he was not a nice man. Luckily, we never were weather people, so we didn't have to deal with him too much.
No.
Except we got weather shots. Remember some of the good weather shots we got?
Dude, I had the best weather shots. I was the weather shot expert. On my last day, I got the best weather shot ever, and they wouldn't put it on. They made Bill Medicare go out and get a new weather shot.
What?
Well, I didn't think that I didn't do it as like me being. It was Kreitlow, of course, who changed it.
Yep.
I just went out, okay, and what I got was there was a bed of flowers. I took my card, you know, whatever, like your business card that had my name on it, Benjamin Hafeman, videographer, right? And I stuck it down in the dirt next to the flowers. Okay. And I had it just over on the side. And then I had the shot set up, and I had, and you could see, and behind it was some cool trees and crap, and, and the sky, and it was a gorgeous shot. And that's all it was. And then after Kreitlow saw it, he's like, oh, my God. I mean, we can't have that on there. It's like saying that Ben is dead. I mean, he's buried. His card is buried in the dirt like he's dead on his last day. I mean, we can't have that. So they made Bill Medicare go out and get a whole another shot, and then they didn't use my shot.
Oh.
I was like, are you kidding me? It was an awesome shot. What a freaking dummy.
We're going to get to the Packer news in a second, but I do have to say two quick things. One quick follow-up on that, since you mentioned his name, Pat Kreitlow. So you knew that he left the news business, ran for state office, was in the state assembly in Wisconsin for a couple of years, then got beat, then got out. Now he's back up in the Eau Claire area doing something called Up North News, reporting the stories that a lot of people don't talk about. And in the process of that, he connected with this guy, Kirk Bankstead, who operates Minocqua Brewing Company, but also ran for office and came up just a little bit short. And they do a show called the Up North Podcast, which is broadcast on the same radio station that I do my show on, Devil Radio. So, super weird, super funny. Anyway, but okay, so I remember two awesome weather shots I got. Hey, David, how you doing? We'll get to Packer stuff in just a second. We're talking weather shots. Ben and I used to both
chat on here. So
Ben and I used to both be news videographers when we first started out in the business. And that was actually after I won my award again up there, award-winning journalist.
Yeah, award. Oh yeah, there it is. It looks a lot smaller way back there on the wall. You should put it back in front of you again. It looks a lot bigger.
Anyway, I remember two awesome weather shots I had. Number one was a day it was super, super cold, right? It was super cold, and they were like, oh, get a weather shot that shows what the weather's like. Yeah. And I saw a sewer grate and the steam coming out of like the sewer grate, right? And I thought it was cool. I'm like, it's It's insanely cold. Like this shows you how freaking cold it is. And I got that, and they were so pissed that that was the weather shot they were stuck with. And I was like, dude, that's an awesome weather shot. They're like, it shows the sewer. Ugh. I'm like, it's not showing the sewer, it's showing the steam.
It's
from the
something
nasty
different than the stupid same old crap.
I know the
One
scenery
time-
or the sky or
My
the,
favorite, yeah. Well, my favorite one I ever got was.
I'm gonna get to that mine in a second.
Oh yeah, you have another one. Well, we'll go back and forth. My favorite one I ever got was I had a lot of time one day because sometimes you do stories and you would be gone all day, right?
Yep.
You'd go to like La Crosse and you'd be driving there for 2.5 hours and then do your videos and
You have to get
story and then drive all the way back and stop.
If you're
at
with
AW
Junkers,
with Junkers, yeah. And I told you that story many times.
Sorry.
The time where he didn't know that refills were getting charged, and he got like 8 refills of root beer, and then he got his bill at the end, and they charged him because usually AW you pay right away. This was a sit down AW. It was weird. It was like backwards, and then he got his bill at the end, and it was like $37, and he was just like, and we got like $6 for lunch payments or whatever through.
I think it was
TV station.
$5.25. It was like $5.25
yeah.
budget. Yeah. So okay.
Well, that was 20 years ago, so $5.25 could pay for a lunch at A&W most of the time back then. Anyways, but this is a day where I had a bunch of time because I did my 3 stories already, and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock, and I had another 2 hours before I had to get back. So all I did was there was this van that was clean, thank God, it had a clean window, and it was all black. And what I did was I focused the camera on the reflection of the clouds in the rear mirror or rear window of this van. Luckily the van never moved, or else I would have been in trouble. And I recorded it for like, I don't even know, like 40 minutes or something crazy like that, like a half an hour or 40 minutes. And then when I got back, Lechner showed me how to speed it up. So we ended up condensing it down into like 5 minutes or whatever. So the clouds are like going super fast, and it looked really cool. But the other thing was, you were kind of like, what is that? Because you were like, it looked like it was the clouds, but it wasn't. And I left it framed in the window of the car or of the van. So it was kind of like, it was interesting. It wasn't just, here's the sun or here's the freaking tree, like a lot of those other idiots would do. Like I would always try to find something interesting, an interesting way to do it, because I was so bored after a while. I mean, you do a weather shot every freaking day, like
every day,
like,
different
dude,
weather shot. Come up with a new one every day.
Except other people would just be like, it'd be different, but it'd be the same. It'd be like a leaf or the tree.
Yeah, or scenery shot. How many scenery shots do you want to have all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but anyways,
okay.
yeah. Okay. What's your second one?
Well, my favorite one of all time, and I promise we'll get to Packer stuff, guys. Sorry, I understand. We want to get to that, but we're telling stories about from the road, from journalistic, times.
Yeah,
so anyway,
journalistic.
So we had to get weather shots every day back when we worked under John Jetta, and we wanted to piss him off. And the best one of all time that I ever got. So it was late. It was late in the day, and they're like, "Go get a weather shot." Those are the ones you run out the back door.
Yeah. Nobody got a weather shot. Oh no!
What can I find out the back door? I looked around and I was like, "There's all the normal scenery stuff, trees and this and that." And then I looked down. I looked down, and there was this anthill, and it was a very busy anthill. All right, lots of ants going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out of this anthill. So I zoomed in with the macro lens. I got super tight, so it looked like a giant ant mountain, like a mountain when the ants were huge.
Yeah.
And so I just filmed that. I was like, this is different. It's interesting. It's what's happening right now in part of our world, right outside the back door.
Yeah.
And they didn't have time to even screen it, so they just played it, and they like punch it in, they play it, and the greatest part of the whole thing. So I thought the shot was interesting. There's a bunch of ants. Jetta totally wasn't ready for it. But the other part that was super, super hilarious was that where he stood in front of the shot when he was talking basically looked like the ants were going into his butt and in and out of his butt the whole time, because he stood like right in front of the hole of the anthill. So the ants are crawling in and out, in and out, in and out. And it looked like it just kept going in and out of his butt the whole time he was on TV, on the air,
and poop.
and I laughed my ass off. It was freaking hilarious. That was the best weather shot of all time.
That's terrible.
John Jetta and his ant ass. In and out, baby. All right, Packer talk. Here we go. Packers. What do we got for Packers this week, Ben?
Gee, I don't know. What do we got?
Zero says, this has been a splendid week, said no one ever. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, hey, this is not what I wanted, obviously. I mean, I think anybody who pays attention to this show knows that. And we've got David in here for the first time in a while, and Eckes is back. And I'm sure everybody's got opinions, and they want to know. And I want to see comments, and I want to know what everybody thinks. Like, how are we feeling about this? Definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Well, that's what we're doing here, folks.
Very true. Very true.
That's what we're doing here. At this point, I'm going to do a Star Wars reference. Help us, Tommy Clemens and Wananobi. You're our only hope. Tom Clemens is the only thing is different. He's our only hope.
It's true.
Well, yep. And Rick and Big Sakia.
Big Sakia.
Tom Clemens and Big Sakia have to be our Obi-Wan Kenobis at this point.
The two elder statesmen coaches.
That's right,
here.
and that makes sense. But we need those two guys to do their job. We need Big Sakia to clean up the special teams. We need Clemens to hold Rodgers accountable and run the goddamn play and throw to the open guy. So if those two things happen, I am confident this team can be good. As much as I don't like Rodgers as a person, I think he's a douchebag, butt monkey, whatever, all those other say something else. That's what he is. But he is a great player with great talent. And maybe he just needs a quarterback coach who will actually challenge him instead of his pals like Alex Van Pelt and Luke Getsy. Maybe he needs somebody to step in and say, hey, hello, let's do it.
Now, this was something that, Joy Taylor, the good part of Colin Cowherd's show, but I think she was on her own site where I watched a little segment with her. She pointed out like the last, I don't know how many years of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and their cap percentage, right? And Tom Brady had the highest cap numbers once with the Patriots at like 12.8 or 12.9, and then 14. He was close to 14 the other.
We actually did a show about that. I already broke this all down. It was like a year ago or so.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to you.
And so, but I mean, it's true, right? And Williams here, Wum G is here, and he's bringing it up. I mean, it's just the way it is. So how do you field an appropriate team with a guy making that much coin and win the Super Bowl? Well, it hasn't been done.
We don't know the specifics of the contract at this point, so that's the thing, and that's why we wanted to have Bruce on and talk about cap and stuff. But if we don't know what Rodgers' contract specifics are, and maybe they're out, I don't know. I guess I was sleeping all day, so I don't know what happened. But
I don't think so.
But it's interesting to see what that's going to be. Is it like some people are speculating, like that it's a 1 year, $153 million contract, and then he's going to retire, and then he gets all that special sign. Well, he said, excuse me, God, I'm still waking up. He said he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Well, the way this team is pushing money out, pushing money.
Come back to that,
if not next year, 2024 is a rebuild. Is Rodgers going to want to be part of a rebuild at that point? Hell no. So either way, it's a $153 million 1 year contract or a $153 million 2 year contract. That's what it is, folks. If the 153 is guaranteed, that's what it is. He will retire. And then we'll have nothing for it. So we better win at a goddamn Super Bowl, so at least we can get that out of this. Because otherwise, we just watched the Broncos trade a crap ton of stuff for crappy Russell Wilson. What would they would have given us for Aaron Rodgers? We would have made a haul. We would have had a haul on that. But nope. And there you go. And that's why he better win a gosh dang Super Bowl in the next year or two. Preferably year, because next year after this, Aaron Jones will be gone because his cap hit's going to be too high. They're going to cut him, and then I'll be pissed.
There was a song on the Jar of Flies album, and it became the Packers' motto a handful of years back when they were losing a bunch of games or something else happened. And Aaron Rodgers was the one that started saying it publicly. And it's simple, no excuses. And that's what I expected from him last year. And that's what I expected from all this fan base last year, that there were no more excuses, because it was Last Dance. It was all in. It was catered to Rodgers, bringing his guys, do all this stuff. And then what did we get in the end? We got excuses. We got blame placing elsewhere. We got all that stuff. Now, that's fine. You can bring it up. Eka says we're silly or not true silly. Playoff game, part special teams, big sack. Yeah, Clemens. Okay, great. And that's all fine and good. And we'll get to some other comments in a second. But the thing here with Aaron Rodgers and with all of this is that Andrew Brandt, if you didn't catch him on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, pointed out a couple things, right? He was with the Packers organization back when they transitioned from Favre to Rodgers. He was also around. He's been around Goody. He's been around Ted Thompson, the philosophy, all this stuff.
He was the guy sitting next to Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers signed his first contract with the Packers as a rookie. There's a picture of him sitting next to Aaron Rodgers signing the contract. So, yes, he's been around for a while. He's not there anymore, but, I mean, he was there.
Right. But he has some insight into who these people are. And he also said that, that one thing when Rodgers, all the stuff that went on last year, all the stuff that was aired out, had to be dealt out and come together for him to come back. He reportedly negotiated a clause in his contract, an out clause, right? An out clause. And Andrew Brandt said, I can't imagine that he would have given that up. That's the ultimate power a player can have. No one gets that, right? The team always decides when you're gone. You don't get to decide. Tom Brady's the only other one that's done it. And that's how he got out of New England. So until we heard the reports, the early reports, then Aaron Rodgers himself came out and refuted some reports, and all he said was he'll be back in Green Bay for year 18. Year 18. That's all he said. So until we see if that out clause is gone, you have no idea what is going to happen with this guy. It could still be one more year Rodgers, and then he uses out clause, and he's out the door. And you get absolutely squat for that guy. So you better bring it home this year. It better be a Super Bowl. Because that could easily happen, Packers fans. And then all you guys that didn't want him to try to move him this year.
That's it.
Okay.
It's honestly dumb. Because all we're going to get is the same. It's going to be like Brett Favre all over again. Every year is going to be, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Well, I'll make my decision. Are you going to retire or are you not going to retire? And people are going to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time there won't be a good player behind him ready to go. We got Jordan Love. Or nobody if they trade him. Which I think would be dumb. And I think the Packers know that. And I think the Packers won't trade him. I think the Packers will sit on him. And they'll be like, hey, we know Rodgers is fickle and he might be gone next year. So we're going to keep developing you, Love. I know you don't want to be here right now. You want to play. But too bad. We're going to develop you some more with Tom Clemens and hope to God that he can somehow miraculously make you better. But for Packer fans who saw this 4-year contract and they're like, Aaron Rodgers for 4 more years. Whee! Wrong.
We'll see.
He's not here for 4 more years.
See what the guaranteed money ends up being too.
We got to see the contract, but I can guarantee it's. He said, "I don't want to be part of a rebuild." Period. That's what he said.
Yep.
And the way they're throwing the cap money at everybody and they're pushing it down in 2024, rebuild starts no matter what. Maybe even 2023 rebuild starts. And Rodgers will be gone, and the Packers will have nothing from it. Because he'll either retire or he'll have that out clause, like you said.
Better make it one hell of a last year then to
Win
make
the damn
Eckes
Super
feel
Bowl.
good.
Better win the damn Super Bowl. There's
And
no
if you
more
do it-
excuses, like you said. Super Bowl or nothing, and people better frickin' turn on his ass if he finally after. I'm just sick of him. I'm ready for a change.
I want accountability.
And it didn't happen, and I am not happy. But I'm a Packer fan. I've been a Packer fan since 1982. I've been a serious Packer fan since 1989. I didn't know what was going on in 1982. I was a kid. I was just like, John Jefferson, wee. I didn't know. But Don Mikowski and Sterling Sharp and the sack man Tim Harris changed my mind in 1989 when the Packers sort of almost had a chance to make the playoffs. And then the stupid Vikings, God dang it, got in, Messerschmitt, and got in because the Bengals didn't win on Monday Night Football, and they had Don Mikowski interviewed at halftime of the game, and they're like, "Hey, you guys are almost in the playoffs the first time in a bunch of years. How do you feel, Don Mikowski?" And woo-hee-hee. And then the Packers didn't even make the playoffs because back then they didn't have as many teams in the playoffs as they do nowadays. So, anyways,
I got some comments to roll through here.
let's do it.
You
Let's
ready?
do it.
All right, so Messerschmitt. Hey, Messerschmitt, how you doing, buddy? How many bad decisions have the Vikings made so far? It's early on, so if not many, don't worry, they'll get some in there. Let's see. He says, based on how bad the division is, Packers will rack up wins regardless of who the QB is. That's what we've been saying as well in the show.
Probably.
Especially this year, but could also be next year because it'll take a while for those other teams to get going. Are there enough assets left to get the D to Super Bowl quality? And with the money tied up in Rodgers and Adams and everything else they got to do, probably not. They're going to lose too many good guys.
Well, I think they got the money
sorry.
is going to be pushed forward. I mean, when we
I
see
hope
this
so.
contract, the money's going to be, and Devontae will not be on the. I mean, something will happen with that contract. He can't be the franchise tag. I mean, it'll be cut way down.
I don't know. That's another indicator that Andrew Brandt talked about, which is it'll be curious to see what happens with Adams, because if they do a big extension with Adams, then he feels like there's probably more teeth in the Rodgers contract lasting more than a year to year, 1 year. But if they don't, then that's probably a telling sign that he still has the out clause and could use it. Zero says, not possible to win the Super Bowl now because team is even less talented than last year. Likely the case. And we're not going to have probably those stars emerge like Rasul Douglas for the cheap. He only made like $660,000 with the Packers last year.
Yeah.
Rasul Douglas, $660,000. You got that kind of play out of a guy. That's ridiculous.
I know.
Messerschmitt, agree with you on the Wilson trade. Division's so terrible. I think getting all the assets in a trade would have set Green Bay up in a way better position long term. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. We're not there yet. We likely will get nothing. And then Jordan Love is getting reamed right now. Please trade him so he can play some football. I don't know, Zero. Andrew Brandt also talked about how he thinks the Packers don't want to give up on Jordan Love yet, and that if Rodgers still has that out clause, they're thinking after this year would be the transition time. So that's just something to think about.
Well, this is only his third year coming up. So, I mean, they still have 2 more years of the cheap Jordan Love. So he could sit on the bench for 2 more years. And then if Rodgers leaves him, then you have to decide on him. But
the fifth year option is too expensive, right? So they
will not do the fifth year option because of
right.
Rodgers coming back this year because they have to decide after this year. So unless Rodgers gets hurt in like week 3 and then Jordan Love comes in and the Packers win the Super Bowl with Jordan Love, that's the only way.
Look at this. Dave, been a fan since 1966. Nice, David.
That's the GOAT right there.
That's true. The GOAT didn't feel the... What is that? I'm not sure if I get that one.
Butter fell asleep halfway through his sentence. Wake up, Butter!
Butter! How's it going, Butter? And then Zero says, I don't see Adams getting top dollar for his age. No, absolutely not. Like, this is the only time. This is Devontae Adams' last shot. So he's going to want the contract because if he gets tagged and plays on the tag, I mean, he's screwed. Like, next year, his value, his opportunity to get big money is going to drop significantly. Even if Aaron Rodgers force feeds him the ball and the numbers are there, teams will see, okay, you're almost 31 years old. We're not giving you huge dollars, man. Sorry. Apparently, Butter fell asleep in that last one.
Yeah, yes. Hey, so let's talk about Devontae Adams for a sec.
Okay, Devontae Adams. We'll come back.
Because that's a very interesting. He's 30. Okay,
almost 30.
The Packers used the franchise tag for the first time in a long time on a player, but this is the exclusive rights franchise tag. It's not the same as the regular big-time franchise tag. What it means is this, and here's the key. Devontae Adams is still a free agent in a way. He has the ability to talk to other teams to see what they would give him, and the Packers have the option to match whatever offer is given to him. Okay? And if Devontae goes somewhere, Packers get like pick compensation or something like that. Okay? But he still has the opportunity to talk to other teams. And I think Goody is doing this so that Davante can see you're not worth what you think you are. Because that's one of the key things that I think people forget. And the Packers have made a huge mistake on a lot, is they pay these guys top dollar because they're the best player at their position, according to the Packers. They keep talking about it, and the reporters keep saying these things, and then they pay them top dollar at their position. Except if they hit the free market, they would never be top dollar at their position because they're not top players at their position. So what Goody is doing by doing this is saying, hey, Davante, we want you back, but we want you back at a contract that fits you and fits us. And right now, Davante thinks he should be making way, way more than he's worth. And by letting him see and talk to other teams to see what they are willing to give him, he will now bring his money down, hopefully, for them. For me, I hope he doesn't. I hope the team signs him, and then the Packers get a couple picks, and then he's gone, and then Rodgers actually play the offense. But what I'm saying is, it's a really smart way to make Davante and his team realize, his agent and everybody, realize, hey, your market is not here, it's here. This is where your market is. Not here, down here. And that's a really smart move. And I give Goody credit for that move.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I think that is really interesting because it will put it right in front of his face how much the NFL values him, how much teams across the whole league think he's worth, and it might bring some perspective to him. So maybe that'll bring his number down, and maybe he'll re-sign with the Packers then. Look, we've never said that Davante Adams is a bad player. He's a good player. He's just not top dollar value. He's limited. And Eka says 30-year-olds can run 10 yards fast. That's great, but you're not paying a dude top dollar to just be a possession receiver, Ekas. You're not. That guy has to be able to do a lot. He has to be able to stretch the field. He has to be able to win deep. He can't just run stuff over the middle or run short and be that type of receiver for you and get paid big bucks, because a bunch of guys can do that. So let's see.
Well, Messerschmitt's saying it too. Like every year, there's a new wide receiver who's the best receiver ever.
Right.
It's not necessarily Julio Jones trade, but I mean, Justin Jefferson came into the league and was like top 5 receiver within like a week. And then last year, Jamar Chase came in and killed everybody.
Right.
And they're both better than Davante Adams.
Because what does it take? What does it take to be a good receiver, right? Like if you yes,
playmaking ability.
There's nuances and there's understanding the game, there's understanding the defense and all, a lot of stuff you can get better at up here. But if you have physical tools and abilities to beat a guy one-on-one when a lot of defenses play man coverage, like if you're athletically gifted, you can be a great receiver in this league, right? So you got a whole crop of young guys that are coming in ready to take that mantle. So when you're getting up there like 30, 31 years old, man, I mean, you can't be – if you were 25 years old, Davante Adams, and you had this production by the time you were 25, then you could demand top dollar. But you're 5 years too late, so you got to demand quality dollars, but not top dollar, because you're getting a little old, boy, and there's lots of young guys that want your job. So just a heads up.
Yeah, I mean, the receivers fall like leaves now. It's like the fall. And leaves are falling, and everyone is a receiver. Because everybody wants to be a receiver within the last 10 years. Because what have people seen? That's where the money goes, right? So all these guys want to play receiver now. So if you look at, and in college, they don't even run the ball anymore. Like, that's another thing. Like, I listen to PFF, and they talk about pass rushers and people complaining. Like, there was a guy with the Dolphins last year, a rookie, right? Who had 0 sacks, I guess, in his senior year or his last year of college. And then he came into the league and destroyed everybody and got a bunch of sacks last year and played great as a rookie for the Dolphins. I can't remember his name, but whatever. It's a defensive lineman, a pass rusher guy. And people didn't have him ranked as high because he didn't have as many sacks. And the PFF guys were like, when you watch the tape, and I think Chris Sims said this too, when you watch the tape, he beats this guy in like a second every time. But because college offenses have so much quick passes, every pass is like behind the line of scrimmage and all this kind of crap. And the defenses play vanilla back zone because they're too worried about getting beat deep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
that these offensive linemen don't block for very long, and the pass rushers have no chance of getting there half the time, even though they're beating their guy one-on-one really fast. So if you watch the tape, you see, hey, this guy's really good. Yeah, he doesn't have any sacks, or doesn't have as many sacks or pressures or whatever, but he's consistently beating his man. Well, you turn that into the NFL, where the ball, it takes a little bit longer for guys to get open because you're playing more press coverage and man coverage and all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, this guy comes in the league and kicks butt, right? Well, the way the colleges play, everybody wants to be a receiver because that's where all the yards are. That's where all the points are. It's 49-50 in games and stuff, right? There's no freaking low-scoring games in college anymore in the big conferences. And everybody wants to be a receiver. So if all the talent wants to be receivers, that's where they're going. And that's where every year we get more and more awesome receivers. And eventually that value, that high price tag of these receivers is going to come down because it's supply and demand. If the supply is this high, and the demand goes down. So the money goes down.
There's some interesting comments in here I want to follow up on. But
Yep.
and thanks for all the comments tonight, guys. Appreciate it. You guys are active. Love that. You even mentioned it. There's a bunch of guys who are really great high school quarterbacks that got into college, weren't good enough to be quarterbacks, and they became receivers because they're good athletes. So you're seeing a lot of that. And those guys are different too because they played quarterback in high school, so they see the game a little differently. So there's even more benefit to their game. But here's an interesting point. And another reason why I don't know, like Ekis, I love you, man, but you are just, man, are you defending the Rodgers stuff over and over in every comment. And I just stopped because every time I said anything that I thought was justified, you came back with a Rodgers justification. I had to quit. But here's the other problem right here, right? Messerschmidt says, no longer a 3-year wait for wide receivers. Guys can come in the league and be super impactful, but not on the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback because you got to gain his trust. You got to understand all his checks. You got to learn to see the game through his mind. You got to connect with him on some level. So your grand old quarterback doesn't allow young guys to come in and shine and be awesome right away because they got to wait 3 years to be good. Because they got to understand all of his crap that goes along with playing with him. So think about that, how that's holding the Packers back from what they could do if they actually drafted some young, talented receivers. They'd go to waste anyway. So maybe that's been Gutekunst's reason all along. Why would I spend high picks on talented receivers when we're not going to get to use them because my quarterback won't throw them the ball?
Well, this year they need to take a wide receiver in the first round. They need to.
And force Rodgers' hand to play differently?
Yes. If they take a guy in the first round, then what excuse does he have other than to throw him the ball?
He has
and
all
now
the
that he has to
He's
play.
got his blanket back. Devontae blanket. AarVante is back. So
I'm telling you, Devontae's going to see what his
100
contract is worth. There might be one dumb team, Raiders, sorry, Rick, that might give Devontae a big contract, and then, hey, he's gone. Yay!
Don't do it, Raiders.
But I know it won't happen. But, hey, he bought a house in Vegas. That's what Rick said. Hey, maybe. His buddy Derek Carr wants him there.
Buddy Derek Carr.
So
Josh
they go up against
McDaniels.
Russell Wilson and Patty Mahomes and Herbert, the top receiver or top quarterback in the NFL, according to me, and probably most people now because they finally realized that I was a genius when I said he was the man way back after the combine. But whatever. I'm not a soothsayer.
No soothsayer for you. Hey, some other guys speaking of the combine. Shout out to Badgers. Badgers inside linebacker, lighten him up. Hey. Maybe we don't need Devondre Campbell. We could just draft a Badger to play our inside linebacker spot or pick up Bobby Wagner off the scrap heap to play our inside linebacker spot.
He might be a little pricey. Actually, this year, the off-ball linebackers are one of the highest graded draft classes. So we don't need Campbell. Giving Campbell money is a dumb idea. He's 29 years old at inside linebacker. And yes, he made some plays, and he was good. And I think it's interesting what Goody said during his first press conference after the end of the season. He said, they asked him about, bringing back Campbell. And he said, well, certainly Campbell played great for us this year. And it certainly showed how impactful that position can be on a team. And we know and we recognize that. That's what he said. Something like that. He didn't say we're bringing back Campbell, but he did say Campbell's play, and we appreciate Campbell and all the things he did for us, and blah, blah, blah. And we understand the importance of that position and what it can bring. So I think he finally gets that, hey, guess what? We need some sort of impact inside linebacker, off-ball linebacker that can make plays. That doesn't mean it's Campbell. That means it's going to be an inside linebacker who makes plays. So hopefully we'll draft one there. Our first 2 picks need to be wide receiver, inside linebacker, or offensive lineman. It's the same damn shit every freaking year. Every year we need to draft inside linebacker, wide receiver, or interior lineman, or tackle, I guess, because Billy Turner sucks. But still, some sort of offensive lineman that's good, please. Some sort of wide receiver who can make a play, please. And some sort of inside linebacker who could actually, function and has some sort of speed and can get off blocks and can actually cover and tackle. I know it's a lot to ask, and I don't know why those guys don't make more money. They're the most important position on the freaking defense, and yet nobody thinks they're important. I don't understand. They pay big money to these guys who make 3 plays a game. Zadarius Smith. He makes 1 or 2 plays a game and makes $20 million a year. And then a guy, inside linebacker, who's in on every single play, who runs the freaking defense, who knows everything about the defense, and if he screws up, you're screwed. That guy makes nothing? It doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm done yelling.
Look, Leo Chanel. Sorry, I forgot his name for a moment there. It escaped my brain. It's been a really long week. I might get into that later in the show. But Leo Chanel from the Badgers, right?
Oh, everybody. Yeah, he's not going to follow the pack.
Dude, I mean, that fast at that size.
Yeah,
come on.
He's not getting to the pack. And if he does, they're dumb. They won't draft him.
We're gonna do a show.
We could have had him at 9 if we would have done a trade with Denver.
He's gonna fall down because the inside linebacker is gonna be undervalued.
I know.
He's gonna fall down. And
we could have had Jeremiah Usakoromoa twice.
I know.
Twice we could have had him, and we passed him up twice.
I know. But what I'm saying here's one quick preview. In a couple weeks, we're gonna do a show during the offseason where if we were Homer GMs, if it was me GM, Homer GM, and we drafted all the good Badgers over the last 10 years, 15 years, what could the Packers team look like right now if we drafted a bunch of the best Badgers? And we'll do that in a couple weeks, not right now. Anyway, think to that yourself. So Max got a bunch of money, so he doesn't think the Raiders can get Adams now or Fordham now. I would just love to see, some good players drafted, impactful players. And we talk about where the impact comes from. A lot of times it's that middle. But I wonder this, does Devondre Campbell, now that Bobby Wagner was released, does he wish he had signed that contract before that happened? Because that's going to, I don't know.
That's one more guy is taking a spot from him, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I mean, would you sign Bobby Wagner or Devondre Campbell?
I think anybody would sign Bobby Wagner first. He's
especially
got
years
and years
angry Bobby Wagner
production.
Who feels slighted by the Seahawks letting him go. So I want to motivate a Bobby Wagner on my team. I would take.
I mean, Bobby Wagner is awesome. I mean, but
think if you drafted Chanel and you got Bobby Wagner for like a cheap 1-year contract, train him up.
I don't think Bobby Wagner's going to be cheap.
So good.
What
if he's really mad? What if he's like, I want to win a Super Bowl? I want to stick with this.
It's going to be like a J.J. Watt deal where it's going to be way too pricey for the Pack to even think about it. So stop talking about it because it's not going to
All right, I'll stop fantasizing. AR's bitter quarterback who literally steals money from wide receivers says 0.
Whoa.
Most wide receiver contracts have incentives for catches and TDs. Bitterest QB in NFL history, 0. Carry the hate towards 0.
I don't know if he's bitter, but he certainly is a dumbass.
This is the one thing I was going to say with MVS, right? Because there's been discussion about MVS.
Dude, people are saying $10 million a year.
$10 million a year. Now, listen. Here's what I'll say. I'm stealing your line. Listen. So here's the thing. With MVS, you would want to say a lower contract, but maybe you build incentives in. But the problem is that takes so much. If he thought about it, right? He gets so few targets. He gets so few opportunities. How can he even reach those incentives to make what he wants to make?
Yeah.
So he can't sign that incentive-laden deal. So he's got to go for a higher base contract if he stays with the Packers. If he goes to a different team, I think he could sign
he's
an
going to a different team.
Deal.
Why would he come back here?
Because.
Why would he come back here? If it's true that there's $10 million there for him someplace, No,
All
unless
right,
he's a
fair
complete
enough.
moron. He gets no targets. How many? There were games where I watched that guy block his butt off for an entire game and got 0 targets. Not last year, but the year before. And how in the crap? That guy, no, he should. I want MVS to go somewhere else.
Me too. I want to see what he could do.
Because I don't know, maybe he'd suck, but I think he's going to the Colts.
Ooh.
Because he had that huge game against the Colts last year, and when they almost
Here's
won.
with us.
He had that huge catch and that awesome. I mean, he made huge plays against the Colts, and the Colts need a speed receiver. They don't have one.
I mean, he was injured a bunch last year, and when he was out, their offense was drastically affected.
Couldn't
right?
do anything. Yeah.
We talked about it for the last 2 seasons. We understand Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, handles the ball all the time, but the most impactful player to their offense, one of the key pieces, guys that actually made their offense the best it could possibly be, was his presence. His presence, whether you're throwing the ball or not. And yeah, he had inconsistent hands at times. But if you don't recall, I know it was over a year ago with Packers fans in the NFC Championship game in 2020, MVS was the best offensive player on the field. Maybe the best player on the field for the Packers that day. He showed up. He was awesome.
He was good. He was the only guy who made a play every single time the ball came his way. And then some, because he blocked on running plays too.
Lee's in the house.
Does.
How you doing, Lee? Good to see you.
Lee! Our Green Bay representative who walks down the street, walks down Lombardi and smells something funny.
Lee, right. you want the kid from Wyoming, or would you take Leo Chanel if we could get him from the Badgers? The one thing I'll say about Chanel's tape, he did for a big guy, he did a lot of arm tackling, so he needed to work on that. But he was fast.
Can bench press 600 pounds or something. That's why he doesn't need to use anything but his arms.
But he was fast. He attacked. He ran like the blazes at the combine. So, I mean, plus he's from Grantsburg, Wisconsin. Little tiny town of freaking Grantsburg, Wisconsin, man. Come on.
Well, he's from Wisconsin. He's never going to be a Packer then.
I know. You know why? Do you remember why? We're old enough to remember. And if you're in the chat and you're old enough to remember this name, then you have been around at least 4 decades. And the Badger that killed it all. The Badger that freaking killed Badger legacy and made the Packers shy away from drafting Troy Vincent, shy away from drafting TJ Watt when he's sitting right in front of their face, shy away from drafting Chris Chambers or any other good Badger in the history of all time, Johnny Taylor. God damn Randy Wright. Randy freaking Wright. One of the worst quarterbacks in Packers history. Was a Badger, and he screwed the Packers, or screwed us as Packers fans from having many Badgers on the team for the last 20-some years. He was terrible. And I think he played for like 3 years as their quarterback. It felt like 5 years, but maybe it was only 2. But oh, God, he was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. I try to forget about him. It's funny how I remember Blair Keel and Anthony Dilwig more than I remember Randy Wright playing.
I'm going to look him up to see how long he played.
No, I don't want to look him up.
I'm looking it up. You talk about something.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
This is going to be the new section of the show, everybody. So we're not going to look at your comments because Ben's going to go on a story. I'm going to, as everybody knows, I'm a big Star Wars fan. As well as Lord of the Rings. More Lord of the Rings fan than Star Wars, but I still love Star Wars.
Oh, my God.
No. What?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he played 5 years. And he had 27 touchdowns and 73 interceptions.
Hold on.
Hurry up and do it so I can tell my stories. You ruined it.
Hold on.
I'm in the middle of going to tell a story, and then you ruined it like a jerk.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I didn't think it would be this bad. Let's take a quick look here. Oh, my God, it's so bad. Okay. Oh, man, right. All right, so here's the deal. Look at his career, 46 games. Record of 7-25, 53.8% completion percentage, 31 touchdowns, 57 interceptions, 7,000 yards. Oh my God. Was there anybody worse at quarterback? Look at this rating. Look at this QB rating. Oh, you
Not
can't?
share
Oh, yeah,
anything.
I didn't activate it yet. I'm sorry, I didn't activate it yet. My bad. Let me go back here. Oh, sorry, I was getting excited. Here we are. Randy Wright. Randy Wright. All right, let's take a sneak peek here. There he is. We'll go back to the big numbers here. 46 games, 27 to 25, 53.8% completions, 31 touchdowns, 57 picks for Randy Wright in his career, all with the Green Bay Packers. Oh my God, why? Why? Look at him. Oh, terrible. 32 starts. Just horrible.
You realize all you're doing is making all the Aaron Rodgers fans even more
Oh my God.
like scared to lose Aaron Rodgers by showing
A
us Randy Wright
a
stats.
career 61.4 rating. No, I'm not. What I'm trying
Yes,
to
you
tell
are,
you,
you idiot.
what I'm telling you here is that Randy Wright put a curse on all Badgers. That's why we never get any good Badgers. It pisses me
Okay,
off.
well,
Continue with your story.
you're also scaring all the Packer fans into thinking that without Aaron Rodgers, we'll have a Randy Wright for the next 5 years. You can't do that. You can't
I got to put this up because I guess finally agreed with me here. Thank you, I guess. I don't know what I said that you agreed with, but I appreciate it, sir. All right, continue on with your story. Ben's new segment.
You must have said. Okay, here we go. I'm going to compare the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers saga to the Packers sequel trilogy from Disney. Are you ready? Here we go. First, what we had was the first year we drafted Jordan Love, right? And we had Aaron Rodgers, and it was like The Force Awakens. Because we got new blood in. Everybody's like, wait a minute, what is going on here? I don't know if I like this new Jordan Love stuff. But it's still Star Wars, right? It's still the pack. We still got Aaron Rodgers, so we're good. I don't know why they drafted a quarterback in the first round. It makes no sense. But, hey, I don't know why they did The Force Awakens other than to make a bunch of money. But, hey, it makes sense. Okay. And we kind of sat there and we went with it. And we're like, okay. Then Aaron Rodgers comes out on draft day. And we find out that he doesn't want to be a Packer. He wants to get traded or whatever it all is, right? And that, for the next year then, that was The Last Jedi. Because all of a sudden it's dividing the fan base. You got fans who love Aaron Rodgers. You got fans that hate Aaron Rodgers. Then he goes and becomes immunized, and then he lies, and then he gets the COVID, and everybody gets all fired up, and holy crap, and it's like The Last Jedi, and the Packer fans are at each other. It subverts my expectations. That's great. No, it sucks balls because Luke is not really Luke. It's Jake. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's The Last Jedi was this whole last year. And then we found out after Last Jedi that J.J. Abrams was coming back and he was going to try to bring peace and fix it all with the Rise of Skywalker, right? So we anticipated the Rise of Skywalker, just like we anticipated Aaron Rodgers telling us what he's going to do. All the speculation, what could happen? What are we going to do? And we got little hints of the Emperor cackling. We got little hints of Rodgers saying that him and Goody are good buddies. But then we also got Nathaniel Hackett going to Denver as our head coach. We're like, ooh. So both fans, the ones that subverted the expectation fans and the other fans, right, we're both still getting some clues and getting some things that they liked. Both sides of The Last Jedi fan, both sides of the Aaron Rodgers. We're happy because we got Nathaniel Hackett going to Denver, so maybe Rodgers goes to Denver. Yeah, we got Rodgers saying, ooh, Goody's my new best buddy, right? So they're thinking that, it's still good. And then Rodgers gives the decision, and it's like, just like the Rise of Skywalker. It was just like, I guess it's okay. I mean, I guess it's okay. And within, like an hour? Within 40 minutes? Boom! Denver trades Russell Wilson, takes over all of the news. Aaron Rodgers gets forgotten, and then he has to make a little tweet so that people remember that he's still alive. But nobody cares anymore, Rodgers. You had your time. You had your time where everybody talked about you, and then right after Rise of Skywalker came out, everybody saw it, and they were like, Star Wars, why? Nobody cared. And now what we need is a Mandalorian to save us. We need the Mandalorian. I don't know what it is. And now the Obi-Wan series is coming out in May. That's our Tom Clemens and our Big Sakia. So really, being a Packer fan for the last 3 years has been like being a Star Wars fan during the sequel trilogy. You were excited. You were confused. You got pissed or happy, one way or the other. But it broke the fan base back and forth going, what's going on? And then Rodgers makes his decision, and it's like, I guess it's the same crap again. I mean, one way or another. And now we're just waiting for Obi-Wan to come and look cool on May. And hopefully Big Saki and Tom Clemens will fix us all. So that's Ben's segment of Star Wars Packers. Star Wars equals Packers. There you go. Thank you. Back to you.
Well done. Well done. I love it. I got something to share. Now, Tramon Williams, I commented on one of his tweets this week. So once in a while, I subscribe to HighRiser22 because that's his Twitter handle. And I think I can share this. Let me give it a shot here. But Tramon Williams was catching some crap for...
What?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you some Tramon Williams. Because he fired back because he's he's kind of pissed off. So some dude who deleted his tweet now after Tramon Williams called him out for his garbage. But so there was a tweet that came up here, and some guy was, I don't know what exactly he said because the tweet was deleted, but it was something about the last play in the 2014 NFC Championship game where Tramon Williams got beat over the top, and that ended the game, right? Even though he had great coverage, it was a perfect pass.
It was a great end.
And Tramon comes out and says, "That's what you remember from that game? How about the 2 interceptions I caused, or only allowed 1 catch before that play?" But I get it, right? That's Tramon's response. But she should fire back because that's some BS, right?
No
Tramon
kidding,
played
that
a
is
great
BS.
game. She played a great game, and it should have never came to that. We all know there are many, many other people that effed it up. And I just said, there's people in here said some stuff. One guy said, you should never, you're a legend. I have a lot of great memories of your time in Green Bay. Thanks for everything. One other person pointed out, Tyler says, if you're a Packer fan, you aren't allowed to ever slander Tramon's name. Those are the rules. I believe that as well. And then some guy says he deleted that one quick. And I just said, you were one of the best DBs the Packers ever had. You also should be in the Hall of Fame in a few years, which we pointed out. We did show all about that.
Yep.
But anyway, so our man Tramon got some crap, but he called people out on his crap. Anyway, love to Tramon. Love Tramon. Just wanted to point that out.
Tramon is the man.
He is the man. But we're gonna sign. We're trying to sign Jair Alexander to big ass money, boy.
Well, it's gonna save us money on the cap this year, and then screw us over later. That's the same. Oh, Ekes, they have no choice but to win the Super Bowl. You're not a You're trying to be like Horn, the genius who saw
remember.
Rodgers is just he's using this all to get him back. He was wrong.
Because they have to win. They have to win the Super Bowl. It's a
They
disappointment.
have no choice. Yes.
Mission
Either win
not
the Super Bowl
accomplished.
or it's nothing.
No excuses. Alice in Chains. Let's see. Mr. Schmidt says it could be worse. Being a Viking fan is like watching M. Night Shyamalan movies. There was great stuff years ago, followed by endless disappointment. Well, hey, we can all be disappointed, but somebody's got to win the division. Maybe it'll be the Lions this year. Maybe the Lions will rise from the ashes.
No. With Aaron
Well,
Rodgers, the Packers are getting all the calls. They'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Ask Messerschmidt. I'm sure he says that they get all the calls.
I'm not sure. Hunter, how you doing? I'm not sure what that's all about. All right, here we go. So anyway, I wanted to show that about Tramon because I hate it when people give Tramon crap. Like, give me a break, man. The dude, not only was he an awesome player, he continues to put out good messaging as a person. He's always been a stand-up guy. Like, and if you go back and watch that game from 2014, you want to call it that last play, you moron, whoever the hell put that tweet out.
Yeah, try haha Clinton Dix. He sucks.
Man.
That's the other thing. The safeties, there's like some awesome safeties in this draft too. And the Packers probably aren't going to draft one. Or maybe, maybe you know what? Knowing Goody, he'll probably draft a safety in the first round. Even though, we don't really need it, but I mean, if it's the most talented guy there, Who knows? That's what he's been doing. They draft Gary when they got the Smith brothers. They draft Jordan Love when they got Aaron Rodgers. You draft Stokes when you just signed back Crappy King and you got Jair.
Right.
It's like, let's just draft guys at positions that they're not going to play. No, this year you have to draft. Every player that's drafted needs to impact the team this year. Or else what's the point of going all in with with Aaron Rodgers?
I like that.
Draft to fill the hole for this year. Goody. Fill the holes. Inside linebacker, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line. They've been the same holes for frickin' 5 years. Let's fill the holes. Which sounds gross. But fill the holes, Goody. Son of a monkey spank.
How about this? You know how much the Packers love
Oh my God.
The
9.99.
the RAS. You know they love it. Look at them, bro.
The crap.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at. So okay, height, right, and weight, are great, but look at the composite scores. Elite at the vertical, elite at the broad, freaking elite 40-yard dash, elite 20 split, elite 10-yard split. You don't think this guy's on the Packers' radar based on their history with the RAS? Oh, crossing fingers. We might get a Badger. God, I hope. And then we don't need to sign a big, expensive inside linebacker because we draft a young one that can play. Anyway, just some thoughts.
I don't know.
Let's hope.
David, I think Kevin King will be back again.
What? No.
Based on his contract, it's cheaper to have him back again.
Oh, please.
Here's the why. Because when they signed into that contract last year, it was with void years.
David has reason.
So
you're saying for Kevin King to be on the roster, take a spot,
it's less
absorb
money
oxygen.
on the cap. It's
absorb
less money on the
oxygen,
cap.
But he's absorbing. He's taking oxygen from other people in the Packers facility and on the sideline. He actually probably last year was probably his best year that he's ever played.
Well, he played great when they had him. You know what was weird? When they had him play that, it was almost like a linebacker role.
Right,
In
kind
the
of in that zone area.
He can use his height and his long arms.
Right.
And his lack of speed doesn't hurt him there like it does
Right.
on the outside. He was much better there. He got his arms in passing lanes. Like he caused some problems. That was a really good spot for him. And the reason why that could happen was because they had Rasul Douglas, who played great. And they even were allowed to put Jair in the slot. Holy crap. But they're not going to have Rasul Douglas because they're stupid. And they'll probably sign back Kevin King because it'll save money on the cap. Because otherwise his dead cap hit's going to be too expensive. And there you go. But they'll sign it back for like peanuts, hopefully.
Well,
But it's like how you use a player, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. Like I said, Joe Barry impressed me this year with how he used players, and especially in that the playoff game where we showed some plays over the last month or so where just that time when he had Kenny Clark lined up all by himself and then all the three pass rushers on the other side, and it was like, holy crap, he just kicked the crap out of the offensive line of the 49ers that way. And Kenny Clark was able to do what he does best, just sit there and soak up space. Good job.
hey, you mentioned PFF, and you mentioned a couple things, and you mentioned a guy. Now, I'm just going to put this out there because I want to share with people some interesting stats. Now, I'm not going to go on too long about my guy, but I do have to tell you a couple of quick things. And that is that there's an article written about some free agents the Packers maybe should sign back, but probably won't, or might not be able to, or what have you. Now, this is my man, Lucas Patrick. Now, he's a great guy. Again, we talked about him being the glue guy. He's even so good at being the glue guy, he managed to bond Aaron Rodgers to other people. He's the ultimate glue. But did you know, Lucas Patrick, the man that's undervalued, that was beat out by all these pieces of garbage, the man that the Packers probably won't sign back, says right here in this article, he gave up, he was, according to PFF, he gave up the 12th fewest pressures out of 86 guards. And he had ESPN's pass block win rate metric. That was based on ESPN's pass block win rate metric. He finished 6th among all guards.
I thought that was running.
In his time, his time at guards. That's pass block. He was also PFF's 31st ranked guard as a run blocker in their grading system, which made no sense because down here at center, well, that was his look at guard, his time at guards. His time at center, which he played a bunch of the year at, he finished 3rd in ESPN's run blocking win rate metric. So out of all the guards in the NFL, all the centers in the NFL, he was the number 3 run blocking center in the whole NFL.
And he was the number 6 pass blocking guard.
Yes.
Yet,
yes.
He was the lowest rated offensive player in Andy Herman's rankings this season.
Right. Again, please explain.
And all fans blame Lukey Patrick, even though he's the only guy who blocks until the whistle. And he busts his butt. And he takes out 2 guys on multiple plays. And he's the reason why the Packers scored the only touchdown in the playoff game was because he did the double team block and then got off and kicked Fred Warner's ass so that A.J. Dillon could get the end zone. And yes, Lukey Patrick is the man. And they should sign him back. And if they do, then they can afford to draft a wide receiver and a linebacker with the first 2 picks because they won't have to worry about their guard and position. And then you take good old Royce Mullet Newman and move his butt to right tackle and kick Billy Turner to the street. And there you go. Because we all know Royce Newman is a much better tackle than he is a guard. But for some reason, they keep wanting to take these guys that are tackles and put them at guard. Makes no damn sense.
Now there is I think Yash is a restricted free agent.
Oh yeah, Yash, he can go out there.
So he could be back and he could take over at right tackle, right? I mean,
you know what's going to happen though?
He proved
Rodgers is back. Rodgers is
play.
back, and remember his Instagram video or his shots he had. One of his shots was him and Billy Turner looking at each other, longing gazingly into each other's eyes. So you know that he loves Billy Turner. And with Rodgers back, we're going to see the same old crap. Billy Turner sucking. Rodgers throwing Devontae Adams 75,000 times. Unless Tom Clements can Obi-Wan this crap, I don't see anything changing. Sorry, Eckes. Sorry,
Eckes also wants to keep Lucas smart. David says Lucas is a blue-collar guy. Yes, a blue-collar guy
money.
That was the 3rd best center at run blocking and the 6th best guard in the league at pass blocking. So anyway, whatever. I mean,
part of me wants to see him go to another team and get to play, and not be forced to sit behind rookies who can't play,
and be given a spot to be you're the man here.
This is your spot. You could do it, Lukey. You're the man.
Not looking over your shoulder all the time when they're going to pull you or you screw up one time and maybe I'll get.
As a matter of fact, watch Tampa Bay sign him. They just lost their center. He retired or he's a free agent or something. I think he retired.
God, that would hurt for me. Oh
no, he didn't retire. It was the other guy. Ali Marpet retired.
I don't want him to go to a douchey team. I can't have him go to a douchey team.
Yeah, but these teams that are douchey are usually the ones that know, like they study film and they're like, this guy's good. Let's get him for the cheap.
Man, I'll be torn if that happens. I'd still be a fan of him no matter where he is, of course.
Well, Lukey Patrick will be on an NFL team next year. You don't have a guy who played and started a bunch of games not make a team the next year. He will be there. I mean, Mike Daniels has been on the the Bengals for 2 or 3 years, and hardly even plays because he hurt all the time.
No, I know, David. It is a compliment too, blue collar guy. But I'm saying he's a guy that you're right is blue collar, works his butt off, and everybody overlooks him all the time, and he just keeps performing when he gets opportunities. But
yeah,
the Packers are going to move on. I guarantee it. He's not going to be on the Packers.
I wouldn't say that. You never know.
Come on, man.
Listen, Matt LaFleur knows he's good.
Yeah, but Matt LaFleur can't. They're going to have. It's going to be a tricky cap. They got to make the.
He's cheap.
But they have all those young offensive linemen that are even cheaper and already under contract that they don't have to do anything with. His contract is up. They're just going to let him go. They're going to let him go. And
Whatever.
the jersey, the Hafeman jersey curse will live on. You know,
Well,
you
you're the
buy
idiot who got it.
you buy a jersey, and the next year the guy's gone.
That's
Ray
why I didn't
Allen
buy an
happened to Ray
Aaron
Allen.
Jones jersey. It's your own fault. You're the one who
I-
did it. I told you not to do it.
Yeah, it's my fault. I know.
You got too excited, and then you never went and got it autographed. Now you're never
I
gonna
should-
get it.
God, man, I should have gone to
Just
training
like
camp
that-
last year.
En Vogue song. You're never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
All right, let's
never
turn
gonna
on to
get it,
something else. What else you
never
got?
gonna
You had
get it,
more
never
stuff,
gonna
right?
get it, Never gonna get it. Gonna get it.
You had more stuff, right? What,
No,
Jair?
that's it.
That's it? Oh, okay.
I
we're done?
had the Devontae Adams
You mean
franchise tag that allows us to see what his value is worth, and I had the Star Wars comparison to Packers. That's all I got.
Hang on. David's got a good one here. First of all, 0-0. LP could have been the cornerstone of Jordan Love's career. Okay.
I
look
think
at this.
That's Josh
Look at
Myers'
this.
second.
Yeah,
pick.
you
That's the
bring a
guy
second.
That's going to
yeah.
be the cornerstone for.
Yeah, you got to have him in there. I mean, you put a second round pick on him. You drafted him over other talented guys. He's got to be your guy. That's just the way it is. Now, David brings up an interesting question. Ben, can you answer?
Yeah, I can give you an answer. It's called our new offensive coordinator. Good old Steno, our new offensive coordinator, who can't figure out that Billy Turner sucks. Thinks he's so good, we're going to put him at left tackle. He can't even play right tackle, but let's put him at left tackle where he really can't play. Genius. I showed you that play where Aaron Jones did a chip block, and Billy Turner didn't even touch the guy. The guy fell on the ground, crawled on the ground for 2 yards, and then sacked Aaron Rodgers. I mean, how bad do you have to be that a little 200-pound running back can chip block a guy so good that he falls on the ground, but you can't block him all game long? Number one. Number two, you don't even get a hand on him when you get help. You can't even get your hands on him. And then you let him crawl to your quarterback and sack him. And you just stand there and watch him on the ground. If he's laying on the ground, jump on him, you dumb stack of crap. Billy Turner sucks. Go back and watch Billy Turner Sucks video from 2 years ago. It's one of my favoriteest of all time. Ask Lee. That's how Lee found us, was the Billy Turner problem or whatever you named it. It was my favorite video.
Blas loved it too. Billy Turner tag.
Yeah, Billy Turner tag. That's all he does. He's useless. Freaking useless.
And-
Worst Packer free agent signing of all time.
Whoa! And the craziest part of that whole thing was that Yash had played what, like 10 games?
And he was great. Well, not
And he
great, but
played-
he was good.
He played well.
He
So
got
what-
beat like once or twice a game. Yippee! Everybody gets beat once or twice a game. Billy Turner did well once or twice a game. That's the exact opposite. Billy Turner was Zadarius Smith. Yash was Rashawn Gary. But whenever Rashawn Gary somehow would lose his run fit, everybody would say after the game, "Well, Rashawn Gary takes too many chances and he's not good against the run." It's like, watch the tape. Okay, one play he got caught on the inside and maybe there's a big run. But the rest of the game, he holds his fort and does well. Zadarius Smith did that every play for 2 years, and nobody once said, Zadarius Smith doesn't hold his fort on the end and stop the run. I watched him. We watched Zadarius Smith get blocked by a wide receiver. 100-pound wide receiver, 200-pound wide receiver, not even. And Zadarius Smith isn't even moving. As a matter of fact, I think he got pushed backwards. But nobody talks about that. Billy Turner is the Zadarius Smith of offense. And Goody needs to realize he made two boneheaded moves. And hopefully Z's not back. Cut his butt. And cut
please.
Billy Turner's ass. And maybe we got a chance. Because that's two things that'll be different from last year.
Yeah.
Where
That's
at least
true.
maybe something will be better. Though, I mean, Zadarius didn't play all last year. And what? Our defense is way better. Huh! Wow. But everybody thinks it's just Campbell and Douglas. Now, Douglas was a big part of it. And Campbell was a big part of it, yes. But the biggest part was no Zadarius. Barry did a good job at coaching. There you go.
A bunch more Rashawn Gary time because it knows Zadarius, which also helped them be better. You know, like we said it before, if Zadarius was there all season, would would Gary have gotten the opportunities to be what he was last year? No. And you would have had your number 12 pick in the draft in year 3, still get maybe like 40, 50% of the snaps. Like, come on, man. Like that dude needs to play and he needs to be a monster. And I'm all for it. If you say I hate Aaron Rodgers and you want the most garbage offensive line in front of him so he gets pressured and sacked and has to do a bunch of miraculous Houdini crap.
I don't want that.
I'm with you. I'm
I don't
there.
want that.
Give me Royce Newman. Stick him right in front of him. Put Billy Turner's ass in there. Put him in there. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes for number 12 with good old Royce and good old Billy Turner back in right next to each other. No Lucas Patrick and save your ass and stuff like that. Let's see how it goes. But if you actually want the offensive line to be the best it can be, if you want the offensive line to be the best it can be, then the approach you need is sign Yash back. Tell him, Yash, you are going to train and be our right tackle, starting right tackle. Royce Newman, train him up to be a backup tackle. Tackle. Your swing backup tackle. Okay? And then you figure out the guard situation, whatever. Myers has got to be your center because he was a second-round pick. Runyon's fine or whatever. He might be okay at right guard.
Well, Jenkins hopefully be back.
Hopefully Jenkins is back and recovered. And then you got a pretty good line. Okay? But I'm just saying, like, that's it. If you want the line to be short up and to be the best it can be, those are the moves that have to be made. Billy Turner gone. Yash signed back. Yash, you're starting right tackle. Royce Newman, no starting. Train him up to be a reserve tackle, swing tackle. And then your line might be pretty good.
That's the thing is, and I could get behind the Rodgers signing back if they cut the dead weight. Like if you don't sign back Devontae, cut Billy Turner, make sure Za'Darius is on. Please bring back Douglas if possible. Those are all things that will improve the team. But if they try to put Turner back out there again and playmaker, or just be gone, and they find some new guys, period, and maybe get Tunyon back and see what he can do after the catch. He needs to fix himself after the catch.
Well, and not just him. Like, can we get? Let me just ask you about that.
Lazard, I don't want Lazard back.
But can we get some pass catchers that aren't running backs that can do something after the catch? Because right now, who do we have that can do anything after the catch? Who does? Tell me.
MVS
on last year's team, who did something after the catch? MVS did something.
Winfrey,
okay, sort of. Winfrey, but he fumbles half the time.
Yeah,
right. But he's got really loose. He's really loose with the bread, with the loaf of bread there.
But he did do stuff after the catch.
He probably is their most elusive and best guy after the catch. But if somebody pokes at the ball, he fumbles it half the time. But like, who else? I mean,
well, Rodgers doesn't hit these guys in stride.
But still, they can't. Adams isn't great after the catch. Once in a while, he can put a good juke on somebody and then do something. But he's not great after the catch. Lazard falls down. He's not great after the catch. The tight ends aren't great after the catch. Like, DeGuara might be one of their better guys after the catch.
Yeah,
and that's kind of
sad.
AJ
Dillon are the two best.
That's kind of sad. So can we get some speedy receiver guys who are impactful and can take a ball and run with it? Can we do that? Are there guys in the draft for that?
Everybody ran super fast this year, but they're saying the guy was a different guy doing the clock this year, so that's why everything got screwed up.
Okay.
So who knows if these guys are actually fast or not? I don't know.
All right. Well,
everybody's leaving us. It's time to go.
That's all right. It's time to go anyway. I think we're out of ideas and out of thoughts, but we appreciate all your comments tonight.
We appreciate it, yep. And what are we going to do? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is back for at least one more year, and we'll see what happens when we see the contract. And are we happy about that? No. But I'm not really sad. I'm just disappointed because I think it's just going to be the same thing unless something changes with the whole thought process of the team, right? That's will that happen? I think all you're doing, I think, is that you just gave Rodgers even more power, and it's just going to be just more. They should really change the name to the Green Bay Rodgers. Like, that's what it is now. He makes more money than anybody by far. He probably makes more money than Mark Murphy for sure.
Oh yeah,
way more than Goody, way more than LaFleur, way more than every other player on the team. There's no owner, so
doesn't matter what you call. He'll change it to what he wants. He's got all the power. He's
just called the Green Bay Rodgers. Green Bay Rodgers.
Save Goody's salary. Just I mean, I know it doesn't help you with the cap situation, but it helps you as an organization for your coffers. So, anyway. All right. Well, thoughts. We'll be back next week. You guys take care of yourselves. Be good. Good night. Be good. And always remember to subscribe and tell others if you think we're worth a damn at all. Otherwise, be good. Be safe. Catch you next week.
Tell me why I'm begging you to come, just to hold me till I treat you. Got to find